live there. Yeah, she lost it. Like she was just little. Yeah. Now they live in Massachusetts.
Can't be that stupid.
Yeah.
Alcohol, booze, or drugs.
Instead of being closer than Melbourne or wherever they
They
were.
were-
Brisbane.
they were
Brisbane.
just-
Yeah,
just-
how far is that from?
It's not even in
It's
Mexico.
hardly the opposite side of the country.
Oh, wow. Are they on the west coast?
We're on the west coast,
Okay.
most of them are on the east coast.
So that made it slot right, real heavy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually
We're
quite
gonna find a parking lot.
It's like going to California.
Oh, further.
Well,
Twice the
California's,
distance.
no, California's 6 hours.
Brisbane's very tropical, it's in the tropics, so it's almost steamy in the summer. Whereas Perth's more of a Mediterranean climate, so it's dry summer.
But it's hot.
Oh yes, yeah. Which stretches over 105.
Brisbane is that plus humid.
Brisbane is probably not so hot. It certainly gets up there, isn't it? Consistently, but it's humid.
I think hot is better than humid.
Likewise.
Genius. He was born in Baltimore.
Swamps.
It's really hot and humid. Washington, Baltimore.
No, no, no. 2100. It would sometimes get up to 100. That was years ago, I imagine now it does.
You like that place?
Not too bad. Only been there once.
When I first came here, the winters were quite severe, and I never looked back. I said, I'll take these winters compared to those summers in town.
I know they do the common council meetings, but I didn't know that they did these ones.
So how do I pay my landlord?
Guess we do construction every day.
Yeah.
The clock is still.
They're good tenants for the most part. That comes
They don't
around,
have
but then
common
you need
council
out.
meetings
You
usually.
don't last very long. Pretty friendly, but certain things that they accept. Keep yourself nice, and keep it fixed, treat it that way. As long as they do it, it's great.
Yeah.
They call it, like, for it and fix it.
Does she do, it's each
Yes.
survey, each survey?
Mhm.
So her specialty is in voice disorders. So her PhD was for children that are born premature because they're intubated and they can do damage in their
They're
tubes.
vocal
And it's,
cords.
yeah, as they sort of follow them as they grow older,
Oh.
seeing what the issues are and then
Yeah.
develop the therapies for that.
They have trouble speaking.
Often they have very quiet voices. So if there's no actual trauma, then they can give them practices to speak more loudly.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them do have quite.
So we can see better, I guess.
Yeah, but everybody in the audience
Everybody else
can
can't see it.
crank their neck around.
We all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call the meeting to order for City Planning Board, Monday, August 28th, 2017 at 7 o'clock. Item number 1 will be approval of the July 24th, 2017 regular meeting minutes.
Let's see here. We need to make sure that the people, the 4 of us that are here, were at that meeting, or we can't approve it.
I was not at the meeting.
I don't
Next
think we
month.
can approve those minutes.
You save it for next month.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's gotta
Okay.
hold.
We'll hold on the meeting
And
minutes.
you might wanna mention to the audience that there's only 4 of us and 4 positive votes are needed, just in case anybody wants to immediately run out the
Correct.
door.
The point is, we only have a minimum number of board members here, so any application from us would need all 4 yes votes in order for approval. If there's any concern on that, then you have the option of holding or tabling the application, or we could table the application until next month.
Yeah, we do that way.
Okay, so for the meeting minutes, we'll hold until next month to review those. Moving on to item number 2, that's Planning Board Agenda Item 2017-17, it's 26 Macomb Street. We do have a long form seeker. It's a historic site review, request to install a fence. The applicant is Dominic and Mary Victoria Reynolds. Plan developer is the same. Okay, would you like to step up to the podium?
Evening, everybody.
Hi.
You can just present your application and what you'd like to do.
Okay, so essentially we're going to looking to fence in the backyard. We have 2 dogs as pets, and we were looking to install a metal wrought iron aluminium style fence, which we thought was in keeping with the age of the house, as opposed to vinyl or pickets, for example. It's in 3 parts. So the first part goes between our corner of our house and the garage. The second part is across the rear boundary line, and then the third part is just to enclose at the front corner of the house, again within the boundary line to the rear of the corner of the house. So I think this provided style of the fence that we were looking for.
So on there is a sketch that was provided where the front corner of the house, the fence travels off to the side yard and then turns and stops at the hedge.
Yes.
You would plan on using the hedge as
Yes,
part of that fence.
yes,
And then at the back side of the hedge, the fence would start again and sort of enclose the back corner of your lot to
Yes,
the
that's
side of the garage.
yes.
Okay. And then you're also looks like you're gonna have a piece of the fence that goes from the back corner of the house to the other corner of the garage.
Yes, and there'll be access gates in that part.
Okay. Some of the questions I had was, you provide a fencing style. I guess this is the look you want to provide, but dimensionally, you want to go with a 5-foot high fence?
Yes,
or-
that's correct, yes.
Okay, because the detail on this fence style says it's 34 inches.
Oh.
But, so you actually want to,
Yes,
you use this style, but different height?
yes.
Okay. And then color, you're getting black?
It will be back, yes.
Black. Okay. I don't know if anyone on the board has questions, clarifications?
I do have the one question about the front yard setback. I see is that a 4-foot fence? Am I reading that right? From the corner of the house to the sidewalk? Or is that 5 also?
It's
In the front near the sidewalk?
It's 5 foot high, yes.
Okay, so if we're 5 foot to the sidewalk, how far from the sidewalk is the street?
It is, I believe, 28 feet.
It looks like 28, as long as
What's
it's
the-
25. See, the fence is only
Right.
here and here.
Oh, okay,
It
see,
isn't
I'm
here.
thinking that the fence is here
No,
also.
there's
Okay.
no fence there. We're not in the front yard
And I'm-
setback at all. It all
I'm reading
remains
it- I'm
behind
reading
the
it
edges
wrong.
of the house.
Yes, that's
Yes, yeah.
So
That's,
this-
we're good, no
so this
setback.
is-
Building inspector says 20 feet,
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
for R2,
For
R2, that's
okay.
right. But you're fine, because there's no fence at all in the front
and
yard.
even if it
No.
were, he could be
Yeah.
under 4 foot.
He's fine.
I have no questions.
No other
Yeah, we
questions?
need secret, right?
Yes, we do have a seeker, full environmental form, for this project. Do you have any questions or clarifications on the seeker?
I just want to make sure, does the comprehensive plan include specific recommendations for the site where the proposed action will be located? You got waterfront development plan. I don't think you're in the waterfront development plan.
I'm not sure, we actually had some help with the
Yeah,
office to
yeah.
fill that in. I think it was
I'm
just in case.
I'm pretty sure you're not in the waterfront.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Okay, region at all. So I think that's, there's no specific recommendations for your area. And of course, most of this has nothing to do with you bedrock depth and animals and whatever. And then when we finally get to the key question is, are you in a district? And you are. You're a registered building in a registered district, and you've answered yes, we're good. You may show up on the SHPO archaeological site inventory, but I don't think you're disturbing anything archaeological in your backyard. And of course, the fence is aluminum, and aluminum isn't really historic, but it's going to look like an iron
Yes.
fence,
Yes.
okay? That's what we care about. I'd like to make a motion regarding the long form seeker.
I'll second the
I
motion.
haven't made the motion yet.
Oh.
That we find no adverse environmental impact. Second?
Second, Bill. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have to
Well, we
vote
still
on-
have to vote
we
on
have to
the
vote on the
Thing,
application.
yeah. Don't run
Oh.
out the door yet, but
Yeah.
we are gonna vote. I'd like to make a
Make a motion.
motion granting appeal, Planning Board Appeal 2017-17, 26 Macomb Street, allowing them to put in a black aluminum fence style Providence at a 5-foot high height, as described in the plans.
I will second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now you're good.
Now you're carried. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item number 3, it's planning board item number 2017-18, 28 Macomb Street. We have a long form seeker and a historic site review application. Request to replace old pine siding with new cedar siding. The applicant is Jamie Troutman, and the plan developer is the same.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The old siding was failing. It actually let things into the house. So we're replacing it. It won't look any different from before, look cleaner, that's all. And I can answer questions. I don't know what else I could say about it.
Okay, so it sounds like this is an application where you were actually starting to repair things and then
Right.
were informed
Right.
you need to come through the process of the planning
Yeah.
board. Okay. And it looks like, once again, you're repairing your siding in kind or to match the
Exactly,
existing.
yes.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
So is it every single board or just random boards that, the ones that are in the worst shape are getting replaced, or are we gonna do the whole thing?
I'm not sure what the percentage is. The siding on the downstairs back was done not very long ago, and this might be about 40%
Okay.
of the siding that I have
Yeah,
that needs to be replaced.
But the idea is it's gonna look just like it did, except for no rotten boards, no cracked boards.
That's
It's gonna
right.
look better than original. Like kind, same color,
Same color.
everything's identical.
Right,
except you're using cedar as opposed to the original pine.
yes.
Better product.
I understand that it will last longer.
It's gonna
Longer than
outlast
I
you,
will.
Okay? And the paint, it's gonna look the same. Once it's painted, no difference. Won't be able to tell, right?
No, they took the chip, they went up and they got the same thing.
Super,
Yeah.
great, okay. Nothing else has shown up that needs to be fixed while you're here? Just because, you know, you're here, okay,
Right.
okay.
Well, they're painting the windows,
That's
the
fine. Paint's
frames,
fine.
doing a few repairs on that.
Okay, we're good.
If there's no other questions, then we do have a full environmental form again.
Yep. Again, the only thing you need is our approval. You do need a building permit, which isn't noted on here, but you'll get the building permit after you get this, okay?
I think that's taken care of already.
Okay, and, again, we have, no extra water, no strange animals, no bedrock problems, et cetera. It's just the trigger of being in a historic home in a historic district, which you answered correctly. Trying to find the section here, it's the very last page, page 13 of 13, answered yes. And again, you answered no for, is the project site designated by SHPO? And if you actually went on SHPO's website and let it answer the form, it probably would have checked yes. It frequently checks yes erroneously. Okay, we see yes answers a lot. They really are irrelevant, and we go, no, it doesn't. So even though they would probably call it yes, we call it no, and your answer's fine.
Okay,
And that's really it. I think I'd like to make a motion that we find no adverse environmental impact on the seeker.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That passed. Do I have a motion on the application?
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve PB 2017-18 for repair of siding in kind, same color. I think that was about it, wasn't it? Just siding? Yep.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
No further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Moving on to item number 4. This is Planning Board Application 2017-19 for 32 Pike Street. I have a long-form seeker and a historic site application. Request to repair vandalized front porch and replace rotten, broken deck boards on right side of building. The applicant is Felix Tuller, and their plan developer may be Felix Tuller as well, but not listed. I guess the one question before we get into the application, are you Mr. Tuller?
Yes.
Or- Okay. The applicant is Belix LLC?
Yes.
Are you the one and the same?
Yes, there's two of us that own Belix LLC, 50/50 partners. But Belix LLC owns the building.
Owns the
Okay,
building?
can you make sure that you get into the planning department a letter that even though you regard yourself as the same, Belix is a separate entity, and so all you really need is a letter from you that says, I, the president of Belix, authorize Felix Steller or Max Abelard to apply on behalf of blah, blah, blah. So
All right.
it's an authorization where the owner is authorizing, because, for instance, the contractor may have been somebody else. And even though you regard yourself as the same thing, we don't. So it's a paperwork thing that you need to get in, okay, to perfect your application. So we're gonna go ahead and look at it tonight, but you would need to comply with that.
All right. Do I need to comply with that to get an approval tonight?
I think we have a lot of questions tonight. We're gonna see where
All
we're
right.
gonna go, okay?
Yeah. I think ultimately, there might, if the application gets heard here, then ultimately it might be a condition. So, but there are a
Yeah.
number of questions.
Number of
All right.
questions, okay.
So, you have the floor, present
All right,
proposal.
there should be a pile of pictures with that. The porch was vandalized. I've drawn a blank on the actual date, I'm sorry. There was a police report done. The front column was ripped off, a railing was ripped off, the corner of the roof dropped and pulled away from the wall because of not having the column. We temporarily supported it to stop it from falling down. Since everything is shifted on it, the additional weight on the corner is now making the deck itself sink. So it's the whole thing is down probably 4 inches past where it used to be. All the crown molding, all the nice 45 and 90 degree, crown work that they've done to it, it's all pulling apart, it's starting to crack on it. It's unsafe. I would like to, my plan for it is to have the roof re-supported up. The deck itself is gonna be pulled out. We're gonna put some sonotube footers in, just to, support the weight of the roof. The deck itself, depending on the condition we find when we get into it, is possibly just gonna be pulled out, sonotubes, and slid right back into place. If we get underneath and find out that there's rotten wood or anything, I'm gonna replace whatever's rotten on it. All construction is gonna be done with just painted lumber. There will be no pressure treated on it.
Okay.
The posts are, right now, they're 6x6, but they are 2x4s and 2x6s nailed together. I'm gonna replace that with a solid 6x6 to take the weight of the roof. All of the trim work on it, the corners, the way everything's mitered out, that'll all be copied over onto the new posts. All the crown molding will stay. The railings, the plan is right now is the railings will be hand cut. Each piece, they look like they're a lot, but I've spent a little time looking at them. It'd be pretty easy to replicate. But none of it is anything I'm going to Lowe's to buy. It's all going to be hand done, which is kind of where I want to be. I bought an older building for a reason. I like the way it looks.
So you're really looking to really repair and replace this in kind, truly?
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, to the best of
To the best of our abilities. I've had 3 people come out and give me quotes on it. They've come up with different prices. They're ranging anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000. A lot of that work I can do myself, depending on the time frame. I mean, it happened at a bad time for the meeting, because 3 days after it happened, I had a 2-week vacation. But I didn't get a chance to touch anything on it yet. The ceiling itself of the roof, this ceiling's gonna have to, if I can't see it through the soffits, the ceiling's gonna have to come down so I can see how it's lagged to the wall. Once the new posts are under and all the weight is on the posts, then we're gonna relag it to the wall to hold it in. So the roof itself, all of that trim work should stay intact. There shouldn't be any issues with that. It's just gonna get cleaned up, get a new coat of paint on it.
So you're really hoping that you'll be able to temporarily support the roof?
Yeah.
Remove the soffit, lag it in, and
Yes.
And
I'm thinking I'm gonna run scaffolding up both sides, get supports underneath the roof to hold it right where it's at, instead of doing the angles that are on it now, the angle boards.
yeah.
Pull out everything underneath, do the sonotubes, get that deck back in, get it solid into place. From there, the new 6x6s will go in to contain all of the weight of the roof. And then once the weight is locked into place, then we're just gonna lag it in for the additional support. Right now, all of the weight of that roof is being held by whatever lag bolts are still left on it.
Mhm.
When those go, that roof's coming down. That's why we added the extra supports, the extra 45s going up to it to stop it from rocking forward.
Mm.
It's in pretty rough shape right now.
So you're not removing the roof at all, you're gonna keep it right where it is
The
the whole
roof is
time?
gonna stay right where it is.
Okay.
That's,
As
that's
long-
really
It
important,
is important.
okay?
As long as we can get to it, I mean, if I can't get in behind it to clean whatever's gotta be cleaned to put it, I might have to pull it forward to clean it and lean it back into it. But as far as up, down, side to side, it's gonna stay right where it's at.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is that's a coordination with the
Yeah.
building department.
Mhm.
I mean,
Right.
the only, I guess, issue we've been made aware of is that if you were to propose a different construction method where you remove the roof,
Yeah. no,
once you remove it, it
And
creates
you end up
a.
having to go in front of the zoning board for a variance, and everything's gonna be all delayed, and you will not be doing any work till October. Okay,
What-
don't go there.
No, one of the guys that came in to give me a quote pointed out, 2 doors down, they built a whole new porch there. And
Yeah.
I've already spoke with the lady, I know
Yeah.
exactly what happened there, why, and he was like, oh, that'd be so much cheaper, so much quicker, and I don't like the way it looks. I like that, there's craftsmanship there. You know,
Yeah.
There's a reason why I bought that building. And
Well,
I-
her porch also did not have all this kind of detail. The
Yeah.
porch that she took down looked pretty much exactly like the porch that she's got right
Oh,
now.
did it?
So it really wasn't the same. It's not apples and oranges, apples and apples. Anyway, it sounds really good. I have another question out of left field. You got vinyl windows in this building. Any idea where they came from?
They were on it when I bought it. There was a
Okay.
new roof and new windows were done about a year before I bought it. That's the only 2 things showing on the card in the building inspector's office.
Okay, so they got permission to do the windows, so it must have gone through this board.
Do you know,
I hope,
when did you purchase the building?
Want to say it's been 2 years. I'm sorry, I just got done working my 3rd double and I haven't been to bed yet.
Yeah,
So
I don't know, I'm miting it might have been issued without having gone in front of this board. We're just wondering, okay?
that was all prior to me owning it.
Okay.
There's a new roof on it too.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Well, roofs are not so much, windows are really
Yeah.
show, okay, really show.
By the looks of the way they did the window, whoever did it, they kept all the original casing.
Mhm.
They just popped the old window and the new vinyls fit into the old casing. They didn't change.
Right, didn't change the size or
Yeah,
anything.
I've already been through and scoped all that out to make sure there wasn't gonna be any issues with leaking and.
Stuff.
Now, I don't have a picture of it, and I was supposed to get one, I apologize, I got stuck doing overtime at work. The deck, that's the deck on the very front of the building, if you're standing on Pike Street looking at the building. To the right, there's another large deck going into apartment 1. That's part of what I said on the right side of the building. The
We saw
decking-
that, but we didn't see a picture, so we
I know.
thought you were only talking about this porch.
No, the only thing that's going on in that is the decking itself, just where you walk on it. There's plywood screwed down in like a zigzag path going from the stair to the door. Some of that decking board is rotted. It's peeled up against each other. There's actual holes. The plywood, again, was there when I bought it. I pulled the plywood up to see why, and there's actual rotten holes. And there's some of those boards that I intended on doing this summer. I didn't, before I knew I had to come in here. And I'm drawing a blank on her name, the lady that works the desk in the building
Denise.
inspector's office. Denise.
Yeah,
She told me that when I was talking about it, that I should add it on here.
yeah.
And, I mean, if anybody wants to go by, you'll see it's not even, the stairs come up and then the door's over here, so they got a piece of plywood matched here. The next one's shifted over, then the next one's shifted over, and there's 3 pieces just screwed down to the back. And it looks horrible. I mean, I got a real nice tenant in there right now. She's got younger kids. And that deck is a big selling point for that apartment. And I would like to get rid of the rot and make it safe so nobody's falling through it, getting hurt.
Is that a pine tongue and groove?
I believe
Under
that
there?
is pine tongue and groove. I've been looking into it. I hadn't put down anything specific as far as what I was gonna use on it. The only problem I have with tongue and groove is water sits on it. I mean, it's an exterior deck. If it rains and that's why everything's rotten the way it is now.
It doesn't have a pitch then?
No.
No?
Well, it may. The way it sits right now, it pools water.
So when you say deck, is it deck or is it a porch floor? In other words, covered or
There,
not
yes,
covered?
it's covered,
As covered?
and it's just the floor, and it's all, that's the only thing. There's no problems with posts, railings. It's just the actual, I mean, if I lift it up and any of the joists across underneath are rotten, I'm gonna sister new boards to it, just to strengthen it up, you know, so it'll last for another 30, 40 years while I'm there. But there's some boards where the tongue and groove is, it's buckled up.
Mhm.
You know, and then there's other ones that there's just whole chunks of it missing. There's holes in it. And then obviously the plywood.
So other than the plywood, would you be looking to replace in kind?
Oh, yes.
Is that acceptable?
Yeah. The only thing I was gonna ask on that is I wasn't entirely sure on the tongue and groove. If it's not pitched where the water will actually come off of it, I would rather it not pool water.
You could probably pitch it, I would think, put a slight pitch to it. Is it open rails or is it enclosed?
Open rails. It's almost the same, well, actually, no, it's not the same railing as the front porch. They're spindle
Is it
rods.
that half circle porch right there?
This one here,
Which one are we looking
Next one up.
right here.
at? That half circle one, porch.
No, if you bring right there.
This guy?
That is a porch. That whole thing is a deck.
Yeah,
It's the actual flooring of that. If you can, I don't know if you can see it from here, but
I can't get straight view. Oh, wait, maybe.
Go through the trees.
trees,
yeah, there's a
yeah.
massive hedge there.
Catch it here. Maybe not.
No, no.
Yeah, I mean, if I can do the tongue and groove and not have it pool water, by all means, I'd run the tongue and groove, but if not, just the regular, same width, same thickness decking.
But with a tiny
Yes,
8-inch.
without the tongue and groove, so water can,
Because the tongue and groove that's there has probably been there for what, 80 years?
idea.
I doubt it's new. It's probably almost original.
Yeah,
There it is.
Yeah,
yeah.
judging by how rotten the board itself is, I'm gonna say it's,
And did the boards run
the
toward the
boards
house or
run
sideways?
Straight from the stairs to the house,
Okay.
Yeah.
which
And
is the
you-
same way I would,
Do it.
the wall itself, about halfway down the porch, the wall jogs where you
Yeah.
can see where the original building, the next section,
Right.
the next section.
Right,
And running it lengthwise, it'd be just easier to run them all and then trim around the outside when I'm done.
yeah.
But that's an afterthought. First is I gotta get that front porch and,
Well, you're better off to get
Do it all
permission
at
for
once,
both.
yeah.
yeah, that's what she told me. That's why
Yeah.
I put it down. I didn't think anything of it at first. I figured if I was just replacing some boards that it wouldn't be an issue, but she explained how this whole process works to me.
Okay,
Well, there's a good chance that those joists under that floor are rotten, because I have an old house and my floor was rotten. I took it apart and everything was, I mean, it was all big, like 8x8, 10x10 beams. I mean, you can just dig it out with your finger, so it's probably all rotten. You'll probably end up doing treated wood underneath to secure it or
Yeah.
beef it up.
Is there, I guess bottom line, is there anybody that has a major objection, whether it's tongue and groove or?
no, and
Regular.
again, it's a side porch,
Right.
it's not a front porch, it's really only visible to the tenant for the
Yeah.
most part, right?
From the sounds of it, it was an added porch at one time also.
If-
If you have separate parts of the building attached to it.
Yeah, if you look at the
Additions.
building itself, you'll see the first roof line, then it drops down a little bit, then you get your second line, then it drops down again to your third line.
So they added additions onto it over the years.
Yeah,
Yep, that's what it says. The rear wing of this house was built in 1797, and other parts were completed before the War of 1812. About 1848, the front section of the house was added by George Webster. So the front is the newest,
really?
and the back is the oldest.
Well, that would make sense, because the back part of it is all crawl space underneath, and the front
Mm-hmm.
part is a full basement.
Here, and you can actually
is-
have this, which we printed off the New York State Historic Site Review website, since it's your house. Information about your house.
That's great, thank you.
Well, if there isn't any
I think we're good.
further questions, we do have a long form seeker for this application?
There was a
Okay,
few spots on that that we weren't sure of.
well, again, I think you did okay. It's not easy. Lots and lots of it is really just sort of not applicable for the most part.
What we weren't sure of, working with Denise downstairs, is the waterfront. She said because of where I was, she marked it as waterfront.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
That whole waterfront development area is literally down on Cumberland Avenue. The line runs along Cumberland Avenue. But as you get over toward the Turtle and along the old base, the line is from the railroad tracks to the water. Well, there's no houses between the railroad tracks and the water. There's nothing,
Yeah.
okay? And that's that waterfront overlay district thing that we have. So you're not in it, okay?
All right.
You just got the one problem, which is the historic district,
All right.
okay?
Can I ask one more question
Yeah.
for you guys? If you look at the pictures of the front porch, the decking, some of that's been replaced, some of that is tongue and groove, some of it is not.
Yeah.
Am I okay to
I-
go against?
I think you could go tongue and groove here because you have the ability to slope the porch, right?
Yes.
If you're doing a complete redeck, you can do the slope. And of course, if you paint it, okay, and it gets painted again, my porch, I use oil-based paint. It's forever, it's sealed.
I used the, trying to like the name of it, that deck, it's kind of like the deck repair, but you can get it with grip, so it's
Yeah.
rough, so
Yeah.
nobody slips and
Two-part
slides.
pipes.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I think we'd prefer it's visible, okay, as opposed to the other, which is not visible. And you have, like, and you're not just patching, you're doing the whole thing, so I think if the slope can be built in, you should go with the tongue and groove.
all right,
Okay, because I mean, we can see it, I can see it, it's what it is, okay?
yeah. Yeah, no, well, what I'm saying is if you look kind of where the post
Oh,
is, the part,
It's been
it's half
fixed,
and half.
I'm
Some of it's
sure.
been chopped up, some of
Yeah.
it hasn't, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking, just to make sure I know which side to go with
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, I would picture that the front is much more visible for
Yes.
historic purposes than the side. And again, who's gonna see it? Everybody that walks along the sidewalk's gonna see this. Well, the only people that are really gonna see your side porch are the people that live there are against it.
Tenants.
Okay, are we good? I think we're good.
I was gonna
For
say,
seeker?
it was seeker?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that after examining the answers to the seeker, we find no adverse environmental impact is noted.
I'll make a second to that.
Second, Bill. Any further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seeker's passed.
Okay.
So, we have to
Need a
move for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion regarding 32 Pike, which is Appeal 2017-19, that you will be allowed to repair and replace, as you have described, in kind, with untreated wood, your front porch, and replace the rotten and broken deck boards on the right side of the building, the side porch, and on the side porch, you are allowed to use non-tongue and groove boards
All right,
because it's not visible. While on the front porch, you would use tongue and groove, and that you will not remove the porch roof during the process.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further comment or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Application passes.
thank you.
Thank you.
The paper stating that I had from Bellix, that I had permission to be
You
here.
still need to do that. It's
Where
just
do I get that?
literally, I don't know if you have any Bellex letterhead. I mean, actually, it wouldn't be letterhead. It'd be you, the human, saying, I'm giving my contractor, Bellex, permission.
Can I just write that out for you right now?
You
before
could
we-
write it out. If he can, if Adam can get you a blank piece of paper, yeah. And you're signing it as the owner, okay?
Board member.
Yeah, well, he's signing as the owner giving permission to a corporation, LLC.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the last application item, number 5. It's planning board item 2017-20. It is a preliminary subdivision review for the intersection of Kansas Avenue and Kentucky Street. We do have a short form seeker. The plan is to subdivide the lot into 2 parcels. The applicant is Tom Maggie, and the plan developer is Dean Lashway. Tom, you have the,
James?
yeah, you have the the floor.
You did an excellent job.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty simple. Actually, both of those lots are already subdivided by a street. And it's, as far as, I think it's pretty simple what we're looking to do. We're looking, there's a little triangle piece across the road. Yep, and then the other big parcel, which is attached to my 3 or 4 acres, and we just want to subdivide it off.
Okay, couple things came up on the application in the pre-review.
Yeah.
I guess, the biggest thing, obviously, there's a multi-step process. You don't actually receive the approval here tonight.
Yeah.
You have to come back, so a lot of these comments can be taken by your surveyor and
Right.
addressed. I think probably the biggest item that was questioned is, right now, there's a lot 1A and 1B.
Right.
In the historic subdivision maps, it comes up that across on the other side of Kentucky, there's a 1C that's part of this parcel. Is that?
No, that's not what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
We're just looking to subdivide this piece off, right here,
Yep.
and then the little triangle across the street.
There's another parcel that,
Well, I've got a big parcel over here, about 4.5, 5 acres.
so that on the
I'm gonna
subdivision,
keep that. Yeah, this is what I'm subdividing.
but this has to be subdivided from that.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Okay.
Basically, and it depends on who you talk to. 90% of the people, know everything. So they tell you that because it's separated by a road, that you don't need to subdivide it, and that's why we're here.
Okay.
Because we know better.
I would say, I would say that Dean should probably look at this with.
I thought an email came through, hold on. If my phone works.
Okay. Well, either way, I think Dean should probably look at this with the engineering department.
Yeah.
And just confirm the format of the map in terms of, if we're subdividing 1B from 1A, then I would think we should probably show the parent parcel and 1A being subdivided from that.
I agree.
So, that I guess would be the first comment. In terms of the subdivision, we probably need your standard detail sheets, for water sewer connections, curb cut. There's a standard level details usually come with that.
Okay.
The final subdivision map.
Yeah.
Easements and existing utilities. Once again, I understand this is a preliminary map, but in the
Right.
final map, we should
We'll show all that stuff.
show all of
Yep.
that. Is this parcel subject to any deed restrictions or
No.
any of the in some other parcels in this area you had like venting like foundation venting requirements, that type of thing? Is that
I'm sure that at all the ones in the back had to have it.
in back?
Right, because these were a lot lower,
Yep.
but this is much higher.
Okay, so you don't think that, I guess, probably clarifying that in the final map,
Yeah,
if there's
okay.
any.
Yep.
Is the garage applicable also in this parcel?
The what?
Is it the garages? Because I know in the other subdivision, I guess that was part of the deed restriction? That
There was,
needed to be a
I had
garage?
that all cleared up. I spent $4,000 and had deep hole tests done and was able to put basements in all those units with the ventilation system that you're talking about.
Right, but I'm saying the deed restrictions where each parcel had to have a garage for the unit.
Oh, never had that. I built several houses without garages.
Close enough.
I'm not, once again.
First thing this moves to me.
Just another reason.
And to you.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, if that's a deed.
I
I
do
would
know in
look
the,
that up just to be safe.
yeah, I do know that in the city, if you don't put a garage, then in the future, if you want to do one, it has to go in the back, which makes no sense
Well,
to
it
me.
can go on the side also.
That's not what I've been told by the
That
planning.
that whole street behind you is all on the side,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
But I would just make sure of that. That's-
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, that's never, this is the third subdivision down there, and that's never come up.
Yeah, we've accounted it down further than where your other places
Oh, really?
were, Yes,
Down at Kenny's properties?
yes.
Okay. And it's mandatory?
It was part of a deed restriction on some of those lots.
Oh,
yes.
oh, on
Yeah.
phase one.
It may have been, I'm not,
This is
I'm not
phase
sure,
two.
that's why I said, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, no,
just
that's
to
a good
make
point,
sure.
though. It's never been an issue with any of my stuff.
So as part of the final subdivision, if you can just have,
Dean,
clarify.
addressed all your-
Yep.
Are you gonna email them what you want?
Yeah, there's,
Can we go over the list that he had a typed
sure.
comment list, can we look at that one?
Well, once he's finished up,
Yeah.
is
Right.
there any other
I
questions?
didn't have any questions about this one, but he had a typed
Okay.
list. But I just wanna make sure we've hit every note that was on there.
Adam, can you sort of summarize the type of list that you had for comments on this subdivision?
There's just too many.
Just lost my paper somewhere here. First was essentially the lot across the street from Kentucky is not being shown, and that's being counted as a single deed. Between the three lots makes up a single parcel, and I believe they're all on the same deed. So first comment was show the extra parcel and subdivide it. The site plan review checklist calls for lot sizes, current uses, existing street centers, intersections, all zoning districts within 200 feet. It does not appear this requirement has been satisfied. No underground utilities or associated easements has been shown on this plan. You show a sewer manhole, which indicates some underground facilities, but missing the actual lines. Zoning setbacks not labeled. Locus omits the triangle lot and the missing lot referenced in comment 1. Are there current deed restrictions? It's difficult to definitively say from the notes. Either way, please provide documentation creating or lifting such restrictions. Please provide the reference deed for review. I cannot recall who, but somebody had mentioned the triangle lot was attached to this parcel for a reason. I'm not sure what that reason was.
Well, because that's what's remaining on my land. That's the reason why it's on there.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
And this is why we're here to subdivide it. Like I told you, I mean, all these lawyers that you talk to, every one of them are geniuses, and they all know more than you guys do. That's why we're here, to try to get it clear.
You get it cleared up?
Yeah.
Okay, I think
All right.
Adam's list is pretty much what we discussed.
Okay, so Adam, will you forward that to Dean then?
Schnar?
Yeah, Dean,
Lajwell.
Lajwell.
Surveyor. If we can provide that sort of summary and maybe the meeting minutes, then Dean will have the information for the
Okay.
next meeting.
Yep.
Any other comments, questions we can offer the applicant?
So does this count as preliminary if it wasn't really complete even for, so does that mean we go 3 meetings altogether?
If the board feels, I feel ultimately we've given him guidance and comment based on the sketch plan provided.
And
Although
that's why it's
there's,
preliminary, just to kind of overview it and.
that's my feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one,
So if it comes
Remember.
back complete, we might be able to get the show on the road at the next meeting?
I
Sounds
would,
good.
Okay.
I would think so. And once again, if there's any other comment,
Yeah.
let's give it to him now and. Okay, question now, this lot 1A, you're in the application, it says that you're doing this for a future subdivision.
right.
Is that,
This is, I'm selling this to Kenny Musso's son-in-law,
okay,
so,
Who's that?
Kai.
so I don't know what he's gonna do.
Okay.
They've always wanted this piece to do something unique with, since I've owned it. And, so I'm sure that he'll come in here with some kind of a plan after he owns it, with what he wants to do. Whether he
Okay.
wants to build, 22 units across there or whatever, but.
okay. I mean, I think that personally, as far as this subdivision goes, we should be handling this as if it weren't for sale and it could be developed tomorrow
right.
as,
Oh, yeah,
for whatever's
exactly.
allowed in zoning, so
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
Right.
I don't really know what he's gonna do with it. I know that they,
Come back to
for
us.
the last
Yes.
10 years, Kenny's wanted that little narrow piece for some ungod only knows reason.
Works out in your favor.
And nobody even knew I owned it, actually, until the tree fell. And then all of a sudden, I got letters and phone calls, and everybody knew I owned that property. So, okay, I'll get it cleaned up, which we did.
So we
Okay.
have no seeker, no nothing
No,
tonight?
not at this point, so
No.
if there's no further comment, we'll.
Okay, so all we need to do is get Dean to get all those things for you for the next meeting, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Yep,
Thank you very much.
sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a
Very
good night.
professional.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's funny, because I knew Kenny was interested, but I didn't know Kai was. Know that.
Okay,
Neck of the woods,
if there's no
Motion to
further
I'll make a
discussion?
motion to adjourn.
have a second?
Second?
Third?
That doesn't
Yeah, I can't
vote.
look that way, I know, I'm used to looking at.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Got it. There you go. Now it's official.
Nice job, Jim, Monday Night Football.
Okay.
He wasn't sure how to,